Probies, once again, remember, subscribe, and I'm delighted to be joined for the first time in 2021. Mr. Johnny Nelson, how are you, man?
You know what? I can't believe it's been that long. And we're in February. And but you know what? Time's flown by. Last year's just disappeared. But I'm all right. I'm all right. Things are cool. Things are all right. Yeah,
It's 2021, but I see you going retro with a cardigan.
Starts in Hutch. Starts in Hutch. I'm just buffing it. Same style.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy. How you been though, overall?
Good. I'm all right. I'm all right. Obviously, we've got our first show back for the year with Josh Warrington this coming weekend. So it'd be nice to get back into the mix of things and see how the land lies. So I'm looking forward to it. Josh Warrington obviously had to vacate his IBF title. So now he's fighting as a non-champion, hoping for bigger and better things, unification or I don't know. So Josh is always he's an exciting fighter. Yeah, and he's an exciting. He brings a good crowd with him. Unfortunately, there's no crowd this time. So well, let's see if it makes any difference to his performance. But listen, all in all, it'd be good to get back in the mix again.
And Kid Galahad, he's always ticking over. I mean, the times that I've been up to Sheffield, he's always in the gym. Always.
He's a gym rat. He's a gym rat. He's a proper gym rat. And this boy will box and he'll probably pull a couple of £100,000 in on a Monday morning. He's in the gym. He lives there. That's his life. It's his lifestyle. And of course now, I don't know if it's official. I don't know how far down the line he's got, but they're talking about Kid Galahad against Jazza Dickens for Warrington's old belt. So just have to wait and see.
Just waiting the date. Just waiting for the date.
Just waiting the date, and boxing rolls on.
100. Do you know what? Like, it's a new year, but old smoke from 2020 has kind of rehashed itself. I mean, Spencer Ferron, Tunde Jai did a hell of a job with their interview with Mark Breland.
Yeah.
Mark Breland spoke
Yeah.
for the first time in a year.
Mm-hmm.
And wow, he went hard. He went in, Johnny.
You know what? Good. Yeah, and my man's humble, you know, because he could have, all this time when everything's being said and everybody's got their opinions of what, how wrong or right Deontay Wilder was. Deontay's fans were backing it up or saying nothing, being compliant. Mark's been humble. He's been cool. And he's got that mentality of foolishness. Now he's got to think about his future and how his reputation. Now, I'm sure most people, it's just my opinion, would think the stuff that came out of Deontay's mouth in regards to Mark was sort of foolishness. And in the grand scheme of things, he took no blame for any part of his loss, even though he was the one in the ring. And Mark kind of summed that up in a very cool, calm way. And he said, you know what, I don't have to say nothing. You know, you guys are saying it for me. You know, you're filling in the gaps. I don't have to say nothing. And I said, when Deontay said this, he needs to be careful because America is a very litigious country. And they would, and some barrister, solicitor, whatever, will get onto Mark and say, yo, that's liable, you know, that's a lot of money, that is. Because, and maybe his friends or family or someone close to him said, look, if you don't deal with this correctly, it's your reputation. Because if you're a young fighter coming through and you think, I'm looking for a coach and Mark Breland's a man, and you think, nah, you know, is that scandal with Deontay, so I'm not sure I'll go elsewhere. He could lose work, he could lose money. You know, so sometimes some people's mouth get them in trouble. They write checks their body can't cash. I'm quite sure Deontay can cash the checks if Mark Breland is a walkless snake or as walkless as he says he is, then then we'll just see how it goes. And I just think, you know what, Mark is being humble. He's kept on a down low, you know, and he's let you say these things. So now, you know, the people around him will say, listen to me, this is going to affect you if you don't deal with this correctly. So Mark has to deal with this correctly in fashion. And as he said, he's not just come on the scene. Unless you know your boxing history, you know this man's been in boxing since the '88. So, and he was probably the only brains in that camp, which I'm assuming got the sack out of that camp. Why is that? Is it because he said to Deontay, yo, listen, stay away from him, because my man will beat you again. He's beat you twice, you got lucky once. And that he probably didn't like to hear that. But that just tells me someone is struggling to accept the wrong way is going wrong. So why would it be any different in the next part?
Mark Breland did say a number of key things, right? He said, first off, that Wilder is done. Wow.
Yep. Without a doubt. Yeah, go on. I agree. I hear that. I actually, and as I said, after all this blew up, I said, don't be surprised if you don't see Wilder in the ring again. Because he's burnt that many bridges with his allegations that people are thinking, you know what, we don't want to deal with this. And now he's the fighter that has to get in the queue. And he's a fighter that nobody wants to fight because he punches too hard, he's too dangerous. He's not technically the best, but he punches too hard. So why would you risk fighting Deontay Wilder when the risk rewards don't weigh out? So this is part of the reason me saying this man will walk out the game. Oh, he might have a little rollover, but then it's going to be a hard struggle to get himself back in that position again, because he's shown when he's at the top how hard or how foolish he has been to work with.
He mentioned also as well, he says, well, you know, claims of spiked water are an absolute non-starter because, you know, he was nowhere near the water on the night of the fight.
Well, again, listen, listen, at the end of the day, regardless of how we view it, Deontay Wilder believes what he's saying. So if he believes it, we can't argue with his belief. That's what he believes. That's what he believes. Mark Breland knows what he did and what he didn't do. So Mark will say what he's got to say. But if Deontay Wilder believes that wholeheartedly, then give it him. Make him think, make him say that. But there's too many holes in the argument for him to, and he's not even looking at it logically. And hopefully one day when he gets to probably my age, he'll look back and think, wow, what a fool. But, you know, give him, if that's what he believes, that's what he believes. If he does know it's bullshit, and he does know that he's trying to make excuses for his loss, you can lie to everybody. You can kid everybody. The only person you can't kid and lie to is yourself. Because when you close your eyes at night, you know what you've done and what you haven't done. You know what you've said and what you haven't said. You know, so it don't matter what he tells me or you or the public. It don't matter any of that stuff. He knows. And that's where the issue is.
All right. Well, Johnny, he's also kind of also mentioned that any tampering of the gloves is not true. And he said that Fury would beat him anyway.
Yeah, without doubt. Look at history. We'll go over it again. The first fight they drew, Fury came back from being an obese, drug-using alcoholic to draw with him, and many say he actually beat him, including myself. Then when they both had time to prepare for each other, after that happened, and Deontay had time to do everything right and prepare right for this man, and Tyson Fury got some momentum and he prepared right, Tyson Fury handed him his ass and given him the biggest beating. So it's getting worse as it goes along. So why, in Deontay's head, is he going to think it's going to be any different? Why? Why does he think all of a sudden he's going to turn into a master craftsman and be Tyson Fury? He'll beat him 1 out of 100. That's one punch. That's what it'll be. But To tell you the truth, I just think he's not accepted, publicly accepted, his part in his defeat. And until I see that, I see a man's not learning his lesson.
Well, Deontay Wilder responded quite promptly, and he said, well, that Mark Breland is a bitch, which...
A what?
A bitch.
Biatch. You know what? Look, it's Mark Breland. Because some man would cuss out and proper embarrassing. But is it calling Mark Breland a bitch because Mark Breland just said how it is? He said something you don't want to hear? Because Mark Breland won't be a yes man? Yeah, you're right. Yes. Is it calling him a bitch for that? Is it calling him a bitch because he's actually come out and defended himself and not let him verbally discredit him and undermine his achievements, the depth in our sport? No, there's no respect. There's no respect there at all. So is he a bitch for that? Because the one that's just being disrespectful is Deontay. The one that's being not a bitch, a he bitch, is Deontay. Because still, this one, all my man's done is actually denied the claims. He's not said, I'm going to sue him. I'm going to blah, 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 blah. That's all he's done. So why is he a bitch? You know, so to me, you know, again, it's just, when I hear stuff like this, again, it just makes me really believe that this guy will drift out of our game. He might have one more fight, but he'll drift out of our game because he's just burnt too many bridges. And I don't just mean with Breland. I hear it's with many other people, the business side of our sport, and they're the piece, show business, and without a doubt, Deontay can fight. But you know, you've got they all going hand in hand. He likes playing the villain. So if you're going to play the villain, expect the bulls and not get upset about him.
Deontay was saying in an interview that I heard on 78 Sports TV that Mark Breland was resentful of him the whole time they were together.
Oh, come on. But why? You see in our sport, you see ghosts. So, of course, I'm going to look at cruiserweights today and the money they're earning. I'm thinking, why? If I was around today, I'd be making some mad money. But the fighters today aren't going to look back on me and say, he's jealous of me, he's this, that, and the other, or they shouldn't do, because my day's done. I've achieved what I achieved. Mark Breland achieved what he achieved. His day's done. And Mark Breland don't have to shout. The weakest man in the room is the loudest. He don't have to shout. He don't have to brag and boast. It's there in black and white. It's fact. So why would Mark Breland be resentful of him? Yeah, he'll think, wow, I wish I was in that kind of dollars when I box. But really? Resentful of what? Because the character I know of Mark Breland is very different from the character I hear of Deontay Wilder. And Deontay needs to check himself and think, how has this man dealt with me since I've accused him of this? He knows the truth. How's this man dealt with me? What has he done? Has he come back and fight, slinging mud? No, he hasn't. It's been a year. Mama just sat down, thought, say what you want. Don't make a difference. You know, and it's I like how Mark has conducted himself. And I'm quite sure even Deontay fans, when you talk about giving respect to one or the other, I think Mark's the one that's getting more respect from people in regards to how he's dealt with it. Because a thief will rob you, a liar will get you hung. And so when Deontay's telling these kind of lies, Mark had to come out. He had to say something. But again, remember, I've said that Deontay believes this is true. That's his truth. That's what he thinks.
Johnny, I've got to conclude on AJ Fury. All right. So the last time we spoke, AJ dispatched the Pulev in 9 rounds.
Yeah, man.
Since then, we're getting there. Next 2 weeks, then next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But I'm hearing now that it's just the minor details, right? Who's going to walk out first, etc. Will it be Joshua Fury? Will it be Fury Joshua? Question to you: who is the A side for you when we come to these small details?
In this fight here, they are both the A side. They're both the A side because Tyson Fury is the one that's unbeaten. He's the one that's created a momentum and a following. Anthony Joshua is the one with the biggest following. He's the one that can fight anybody at Wembley Stadium and pack it out. Could Tyson Fury? I question that. But Tyson Fury has all the jewels, or the final jewel to the crown. Both these guys are the A side. Both, they wouldn't earn this money unless they were fighting each other. There's nobody else out there Joshua could fight or Fury could fight to earn this kind of dollars, which means they're both the A side. In regards to who comes out first, I personally, in regards to who comes out first, I personally would be happy coming out first. I'd love coming out first because when you're stood in a ring and your opponent comes out through the tunnel and he sees you stood there, you are what he sees. That's first mental battle won because he stood there. He's watching you, and he's thinking, "Boy, no matter how confident you are, boy, I'm stepping on the gallows here, boy." So to me, the advantages and disadvantages of coming out first or second, I don't think it made any difference to these guys because they just want to fight.
I've seen a few boxing forums, some pro anti-Joshua fans saying that, the man has more belts, the man has a bigger social media following. He should be the A side because of those factors. Still, for you, it doesn't matter. They're both the A side for you. Or no?
Both the A side. Just remember, just ask yourself this question, whoever's watching this. Who in the world would Tyson Fury or Anthony Joshua box to make this kind of money now? To make this kind of the potential of this earning. Who could they box? So let's say the fight's off and Anthony Joshua goes and boxes somebody else. He won't earn nearly as much money. Still get the crowds, but shows the attention's there, the interest is there. Who would Tyson Fury go and box? He won't earn nearly as much money. The attention is there. They need each other. Everybody needs a dance partner, and this is it.
Your inside connections, what are they saying in terms of when it's actually done? What are they saying? I know you got that the inside hookup.
I've heard they're just nailing down venue because remember, the second this is announced, flight tickets, if it is abroad, flight tickets will be booked and snapped up in a heartbeat. Hotels, ticket prices, everything will shoot up in value. So they've got to make sure when they announce it, every T is crossed, every I is dotted. I'm hearing early summer, but these things take time.
All right, Johnny, it's been a pleasure once more, man, to catch up real soon, man. I'm gonna find my cardigan like that. I got one from Zara exactly like that.
Yeah. You listen, boss it, just boss it, just. Remember starting out when you said boss it. Now it's chilly today. It's not supposed to become some boss it out.
I'm gonna find a car carney also.
All right, listen.
Johnny, thanks for your time. Pep Talk.
Anytime.
Johnny Nelson.